make sure to check out my unbiased immigration story told from a detainee's point of view. Link down below. All right. Episode 19. Let's go.
Welcome to LA, where something is always on fire.
Oh, man.
And it all began when Trump got elected. Okay. Well, because look, he's just doing what he said. He said, I'm going to round up all the illegals. So now they're doing it. ICE came to town.
No.
Apartment factory.
Remember, Bill, he said that he was going to only round up criminals, like the gang members and stuff. And now, hopefully he'll bring it up. But now he's kind of backtracking a little bit, Taco Trump. Now he's like, okay, we're going to try to not deport anybody working in farms and hotels. I swear to God, it's almost like he's winging it. Like, didn't he know that was going to happen? There's been there's a documentary that HBO made when Alabama tried, they didn't try it. They actually came up with a law, very anti-illegal immigrant law. And they all ran. They all got out of there. All the illegal immigrants got out of there. And, oh, man, did they have such a big problem trying to hire people to do that work. Of course, they tried regular Americans, American citizens, and nobody wanted to do it. They tried. One guy lasted, just one guy. And they tried prisoners. Nope, did not work either. I highly recommend for you to watch that documentary.
I got to say this to MAGA Nation. Make up your mind. Do you want things made in America or don't you? People get their news from either one side or the other. If you watch the national news, this city is under siege, either on Fox News, under siege by illegal immigrants.
An invasion.
99% of us just want to know, is it safe to pick someone up at the airport? Is that... It's a few blocks downtown. It's downtown. We've been downtown. The authorities told the people who live there in that area, just to be on the safe side, remain in your tents.
God.
Here's how super dangerous this situation is. Within the area where it's happening, a little curfew area, a few blocks, the LA Opera is located, and they're still going on.
Yeah. It's not like the 1992 LA riots. But tomorrow, No King's Day, it might get a little crazy because it's going to happen throughout the whole country.
Did you see the press conference the other day? Kristi Noem, our Homeland Secretary, was...
Dear God.
Was here, and one of our senators, Alex Padilla, I don't know if they knew it was him, but he stood up to ask a question and confront her, and they fucking frog marched him out of there.
Yeah. But in all fairness, Lone, I hear both sides. And I'm hearing that he didn't have some kind of identification on his chest. So I don't think they knew who he was. Maybe, I don't know. But he definitely didn't have that thing on his chest. And I think he was interrupting. But because, the Democrats, the left, they're a little more, at least as far as politicians go, they're a little more weaklings or whatever. If the roles were reversed, that wouldn't have happened. That Republican or conservative politician interrupting, screaming, would have got away with it.
If anyone is ready for his close-up, it's Gavin. I think this is his moment. I do. Okay, but we'll get to that on the panel. But,
he's going to run for president, man.
Okay, it's Friday the 13th. Woo! Giant raid on Iran, on their military facilities, on their nuclear facilities, killed their top 3 military commanders. I'd just like to say to the president, that's what an invasion looks like, not 6 guys hanging out of Home Depot.
Exactly. Okay? Man. I got to say before I forget, if you know anyone who's going to be involved in those protests, for the love of God, tell them to carry an American flag. Why, oh God, oh why are they waving a Mexican flag? And I'm Mexican. When I say I'm Mexican, I'm born in Mexico. Why is Mexico? Thanks to Ronald Reagan, amnesty. If I were to be in that protest, which I'm not because I prefer solutions I got a 10-year work program permit idea that I think would work, but I'm not going to go out there waving the Mexican flag or be out there the only guy waving the American flag. I get what they're doing, but a part of it I disagree with.
So now we have another war, and out of habit, today Trump said, this would never have happened if I was president.
You still think Biden's president?
Hezbollah, that's one of Iran's proxies, they condemned the attack and they said they're awaiting instructions on how to respond. Check your pagers, guys.
Oh. I wonder if they're using them.
Trump is having his big parade tomorrow.
Oh, God.
Right?
This
I'm
guy.
going to be glued to the TV. I don't think this is a good idea to have tanks in the street, but that's what we're doing. So, of course, a lot of people don't like this. 2,000 cities are having an uprising. We'll see if it's an uprising, but a demonstration called No Kings, because, you know, he is acting a little king-like. It's called... Tomorrow is called No Kings Nationwide Day of Defiance. Real catchy. I tell you, if only liberals had brought this level of enthusiasm to Nationwide Day of Voting.
Hell yeah.
This did look a little kingy. Trump unveiled this week. Oh, I love this. This man.
Dear God.
A Trump card, of course it's gold, for foreign nationals can purchase for $5 million to become a citizen. Yes, we're so against any foreign national getting to this country. We'll send the fucking Marines, but you know what? We're not animals. We can be bought.
This guy. Gigantor.
Say they still like you here. Oh,
what's his name? Kyle Kalinske, YouTuber guy. Oh my God! If you say anything bad about the left or the Democrats, he phrases it. He titles it "smooching up to MAGA." Just because you disagree with some far left nutcase ideology, it doesn't mean you're going to cozy up to MAGA. Some things are sane, some things are insane. Pretty simple. And this guy right here, in my opinion, is a real free thinker. He could disagree with anyone he wants to, and he doesn't care what anyone thinks. Either vote for him or not, but he's going to be himself, and I insanely respect that.
I know you've been getting a lot of shit out there, and we're going to get to that.
Yeah, see, there you go.
This is one of my easier days.
I absolutely, I think I was maybe the only one that said we really have to fully support him taking out Iran at this point. We can't ever allow Iran to develop a nuclear weapon.
No. See, I respect his stance. Like I said, I remember watching a video where there were demonstrators outside of his house, I think, pro-Palestine demonstrators. He came out waving an Israeli flag. And that's ballsy. Like I said, he's a free thinker. You know, I respect that. But that means he's biased. Like Israel right now is on a rampage. I know because of October 7th, but I think they're reaching. I think they're overreaching.
One of their ex-prime ministers, Maher, this is an ex-prime minister, is now saying Israel is committing war crimes.
There you go.
I keep saying, you know, do you think Hamas needs to be destroyed? And people say yes.
Of course.
And then the next question is, well, how do we know when that is? Now, we may find out that Netanyahu has gone too far.
Yeah.
What do you think about this? Does this change your thinking at all that an ex-prime minister would say this?
No, I really do think, absolutely. I don't believe Israel has incurred any kind of war crimes.
Of course
I
not.
also think
This has been going on for 75 years. That's pretty much as long as Israel has existed, a little more. And throughout the entire time, they have been constantly under attack. So it's not just what happened yesterday or last year.
Thank you.
This attack against Iran, what's going on in Gaza. This has been brewing for the better part of a century, and it could all end tomorrow if everybody would just come to the peace table. Now, Israel has done that. I know they didn't like what was offered.
Because you have to come with proper terms. Now, I don't know the terms that came with all those times that they try to come to the peace table. I would like to know in detail, and I'm probably going to look it up after this, but what were the terms? I, I seriously doubt they were fair to the Palestinian people. I seriously doubt it. But I've said it before. I think the only solution is twin countries, not side by side, but stacked. An elevated country. Israel is not that big, at least for American standards. It's not a big country. So you could elevate it with pillars and create a whole society on top of the one that exists already. Because nowhere in the Torah, in the Bible, in the Quran, does it say anything about elevation. So it's possible. It'll take a long time to build that society, but it could work.
Do you think this is the issue that made people sort of turn on you? I saw recently reports you had, I think your chief of staff quit on you and started talking shit about you. And I have certainly seen people who refused to go all the way with the purity lovers on the left suddenly castigated and cast out and attacked like this. So
really, that would happen, after Israel and if the border. And some of the times I might have to disagree with my party, and that's really we brought us to that place where just that kind of a canceling was a little bit a different thing. But now we've all moved on from that.
Right now, as far as the immigration issue goes, I keep seeing these messages or this video or examples of people who didn't care about immigration until it affected them personally. There's this lady, I think she's the founder of Latinas for Trump, and she was under the impression that he was only going to deport illegal, criminal, gang member immigrants. So she's like, there's a quote out there that she put out where she regrets her vote because what he's doing, according to her, is inhumane. You get the comments, we told you so, we warned you, and everything. And even with the Israel versus Palestine conflict, people only seem to really care or be very biased when it affects them personally. Like, I have a son in the Marines right now. So I'm looking at every conflict thoroughly. I want to know what's going on. And yeah, that affects me personally. So with any politician or any average citizen talking or messaging or whatever, look and see if it affects them personally, because that's very important. Because once it does, they change their tune.
You talk to Trump. We all know that's bad.
Oh, Lord forbid.
We're one of the few people that actually have dinner with Trump. But I was just hanging out, talking to the other side, and now, if you break those kinds of rules, then you do have to pay a price for that, as I know you have too.
My
You could
God.
have dinner with him, right? It wouldn't turn you into a zombie.
Well, yeah, but I think in some cases, I think our party's values have changed, and then there's been a lot of flux. For me, professionally,
I saw a video online where this I guess she's a far left Democrat. She's like, I have stopped talking to my family because they're MAGA, and everybody in the comments was agreeing with her, and they were doing the same thing. And me, the lone centrist, I said, this is why the orange man won, because you tuck tail and run instead of engaging and debating them. I mean, you're more than likely not going to change their mind, depending how deep they are into the MAGA mentality. But look it up. How many people who voted for Trump voted for Obama? I can't remember the exact number, but it's a large percentage. So there's people out there who, they're not MAGA, they don't wear the red hat, but no way they're going to vote for this left policies right now. They were, at least right now it's kind of simmering down, but before they were crazy, man. They were like straight up catering to the far left, whether it was politicians or corporations. They were catering to them. Now it's changing, especially with Gavin Newsom. He's going in, man. So if the left, if Democrats want to win again, they got to stop the bullshit. They really do. Because everybody, both sides, are seeing through it now.
When they see the guy with the Mexican flag and the Waymo burning behind
There
him,
you go, right
it's
there.
going to be good for Trump.
Yeah, well,
Of
that's
course.
what I'm saying.
It said, I'm not a progressive. Well, we don't even know what these terms mean. Well,
Not anymore.
Everybody has a different definition in their head. I took it to mean, like me, I'm an old school liberal. I'm an old school Democrat.
Same here.
Exactly. That's the thing. Like, for example, the big, beautiful bill. I'm going to vote that down. You know?
Yeah.
Because,
Hell yeah. Even Elon Musk doesn't like it.
For me, I mean, I could never support cutting Medicaid.
Steve Bannon, of all people, he said that a lot of MAGA are on Medicaid and SNAP and all those kind of things. And they can say what they want to say, right? About both sides. But once they start feeling it financially, when they visit a hospital, their insurance company or whatever, then they're really going to know. Now, if they're knuckle-dragging morons, and of course Trump is going to blame Biden somehow, if they don't know that this bill is the reason for it, then there's no hope. But if they know, and I think most of them will know that, okay, this is coming from that big, beautiful bill. They're not all idiots, right? They're going to know that, okay, this ain't Biden anymore. This is your bill. And maybe that's when a big portion of MAGA is going to turn on them.
Israel took out all their their defenses, so they had complete air superiority.
And took out their most important proxy, Hezbollah.
And took out the leader of Hezbollah, took out the leader of Hamas. Now they took out their leadership. So what do the Dutch think about this, Rutger?
Well, usually...
That's who I usually turn to.
The Germans came out, the French came out, the Brits came out, all in support of Israel right now. And they're not supportive of Israel on the Palestinian issue at all.
Right.
But on Iran, they absolutely are. Trump wants to be a peacemaker, right? I mean, that's in a sense the bigger story here. Is that Trump's 0-2 on peace right now, right? He tried with the Russians. He tried with
failing.
The Iranians. He failed.
I'll give Trump that. I'll give him that. He is a peacetime president. He really doesn't like war. But he's not good at it. He said, I'm going to end the Ukraine-Russian war in one day after I'm president. No, did not happen.
That's L.A. Why is it always us? As a longtime resident, I have to ask that. And
I have a theory. Can't prove it. But L.A. always has civil unrest because LAPD. LAPD has a very large area to patrol and protect. Even other little towns in the county of LA, they have their own police department or sheriffs or whatever. So if any civil unrest goes down in those little towns, they have the PD to take care of it. But LA itself, the city of LA, they got so much to patrol that if something happens, because it happened in the 1992 riots, where they got a call to back away. And the cops backed away. They got a call, all of them, just get out of there, back away. My theory is that they went and protect other more fluent areas. It's like, let them do what they're going to do. We can't protect everywhere. So if this riot enters the affluent neighborhoods, they'll be protected. Because you never, like Compton had their own police department, and you didn't hear any civil unrest in Compton, which is ironic because Compton is, it was what it was, especially in the 80s and 90s. And me being from Oakland, a lot of people in Oakland tried to protest and even riot to the scale of the 92 LA riots. And Oakland was not having it because Oakland OPD, all they had to deal with is just Oakland. Not only Oakland, but East Oakland, where most of the violence and murders happened. Matter of fact, I was there in East Oakland when the Oscar Grant trial, when the verdict was coming in, And when I tell you that OPD, man, was ready, they were so ready with riot gear. They weren't having it, man. Whereas LAPD, they will just leave. They'll leave. There's a video I saw today where the protesters were trying to like throw things at Vegas PD. They had a protest in Las Vegas, and one of the officers said, "This isn't LA." They put him down and they arrested him, took him in, and that's my theory: is that LAPD has too much area to cover.
It's been on the table many times, something that was viable, and that bargain is, we don't really want to throw out people, even if they're illegal, if they're working here and they're not criminals.
Yeah. Yeah. It's always been like that.
You know,
even like the most staunch conservative, man.
They're not invaders. They're working here.
Yeah.
Obviously, we need them working here, and the people who hire them want them here. And the people, we in LA know we couldn't live without the illegals.
Come on, be real, Bill Maher. Hell yeah. I'm sorry, I got so much to say, man. This issue is very important to me. Did you ever think about why the Social Security cards are made of paper? Every other form of identification in this country is highly sophisticated as far as counterfeiting goes, as far as copying, making a fake one. They try to deter it as much as possible, except for the Social Security card. It's made of paper to this day. And they're not connected. Like if you run someone's social, their ID number or driver's license number, it's not going to come up. They're not going to be connected. There's not going to be a picture on the computer screen. Oh, okay, this person belongs to this social belongs to this driver ID. They're not connected. I promise you, I can't prove it. It sounds like a conspiracy, but it's intentional. Because this country has always wanted cheap labor or even free labor, but they always wanted very cheap labor. What's happening now is that the numbers are too high. So they're trying to reduce it. But if this country, truly wanted to get rid of illegal immigration, and number one, they would go for the people who hire them. They love it. They love it. Which is why I always find it kind of weird and ironic that, honestly, they're white guys saying, "Oh, I love Mexicans. Oh, man." And they're usually the owner of a company, a construction company or something. Well, yeah, of course you're gonna love it, but that goes for a lot of sectors of the country as far as jobs go. It's a benefit to hire illegals and to look the other way. Way more beneficial, way more. But they're trying to stomp down the numbers. There's way too many, especially when all the kids were coming over. It looked bad. It just looked bad. And I don't think Trump knows that. I don't think he's aware that it's intentional and that they want a certain amount of numbers. He wants to get rid of all of them. I don't think he knows that if that were to happen, but if he were to do it, like overnight, like snap his fingers, they all disappear. Oh my God. The amount of vacant jobs, the amount of vacant tax revenue that would be missed, it would be insane. Like, it would be crazy. So there's something going on, man, that they're not telling us.
And we did that. The border is closed.
The border's a win.
The border's a win.
That's an 80-20 issue for Trump. And you talk about Trump always chickens out, not on Mexico.
He does, though, but a 10-year work permit program where it'll be expedient. You sign up, and sadly, it would only apply to Mexicans, Central Americans, and South Americans because of regional reasons, where they get pushed ahead of the line and they're able to work legally in the United States for 10 years. But you got to sign a contract. And in that contract, you cannot receive benefits and birthright citizenship out of the window. So if you have a child while you're working here in those 10 years, that child is not going to have a automatic citizenship. Not only that, but when you enter, there's a fee. I call it a privilege tax. But whatever money you were going to spend with a smuggler, you give it to the government of the United States. And I would love if that money, because it's a lot of money, because there's a lot of immigrants trying to come in. I would love it if that money went to veterans, military veterans, man, especially Vietnam vets. I have so much respect for those guys. Maybe while they're working, and every paycheck, a very small tax. So you'll get a tiny little tax for every paycheck, and that money should go to benefit, whether veterans or infrastructure, whatever the case may be, and it'll work. Now, the reason why it'll work is because I know for a fact, through my life experiences, a lot of these immigrants, they don't want to live here for the rest of their lives. What they actually want is to get enough money, which is why they send money back home. A lot of them do, because what they want is a plot of land, territory, where they can build a home, they go back home and live comfortably. But they want to actually live and die in their home country.
I did find it interesting. I know he posted lots of things, but when he came out and said, well, I've heard from my friends in the hotel industry, I've heard from my friends in the agriculture industry, and maybe I need to let these people that are hardworking, I need to let them stay. I'm like, why did it take you so long to figure that out? It's almost like Putin.
Oh my God, exactly what I just said.
Not to belabor the point, but that is why it's important that everybody who can talk to him talks to him. Because he does listen to a lot of people. What sticks? I don't know. It's very often the last person he talks to, but if it's something like this, yeah, maybe that's the only hope. You have no other power, Democrats. You might as well try that.
Yeah. Immigration is pretty useful. This is a pretty pro-immigration country compared to where I'm from.
If we just do it,
for example.
Yeah, just have a system. We had no system.
Yeah.
But I also would like to say this to Kristi Noem. Now, as the longest-serving talk show host here in L.A.
That's true.
I've been in this studio since 1996 with Politically Incorrect. I have the same phone number. I don't know what it is, but I have it. We have one more show before our summer break, and I'm told that is our 700th real-time episode.
Whoa.
We've been here a long time. 42 years out here. And Kristi Noem, that's our Homeland Security Secretary, she said the other day, we are not going away. We are staying here to liberate this city from the socialists. Well, Kristi, honey, I got to tell you, having lived here this long with some of the frustration, sometimes I want to be liberated from the socialists. But, honey, we will handle it ourselves.
Yeah.
We don't need you to come out from Washington. No outside agitators, meddling federal government, coming in here telling us how to live. They're going to show the guy that says, no one is illegal on stolen land. Well, give me a fucking break, okay? We're not giving it back.
From someone who had this signature in her email saying, we want to apologize for the fact that our office is on indigenous land. And I was like, well, if you feel so sorry about it, give it back, right? I mean, imagine.
Put your money where your mouth is.
Tomorrow is no King's Day because we don't want Trump to be a king. I agree with that. We don't be a king. But as all these things, it starts out as one thing, and then it devolves into Palestine and green energy.
Yeah.
And, close the gun loopholes. There's some pro-Palestinian people out there. And then this guy's shirt says, God bless abortions. For example, there's globalize the enchilada. Oh, that's just... look at this one. Queers for burning Waymos. I'm illegal and I vote. Well, that's not helping anybody.
Oh, no.
Mothers Against Drunk Defense Secretaries. Oh, as soon as there's a big problem, a hero will rise. And I think we saw that this week because Gavin Newsom.
Yeah.
This makes me feel good because, people make fun of me all the time. Why do you stick with Gavin? He's way too far left. Yeah, but he's been moving to the center lately. And he kind of had his moment now. Because, Democrats have been looking for somebody. Cory Booker stood up there for 25 hours.
Oh, God.
That's not, he did like one of those filibusters. It was like, it wasn't sexy. It wasn't.
Now, the debate is that what does he really believe in? Is what he was doing before what he really believes, or what he's doing now is the real him? Because a lot of these politicians, they go based on polls, approval polls, and what other people are approving of now. So maybe this is the real him. Who knows? But there was a time where Barack Obama was against gay marriage early on, and then but then the polls started shifting, and then he changed his tune. But who gives a fuck if it's the real them or not? It's what we want. If the majority of the country wants a certain policy to come through, and they fight for it, that's all I care about. That's all you should care about.
Gavin Newsom going up there says, "Arrest me, tough guy."
Yeah.
Come after me, arrest me. Let's just get it over with. Tough guy.
Oh, yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
You think Trump liked having his face in a mugshot? This guy wants his face on a mugshot. He could become like one of the hot felons. I mean, they always have those hot felons, and then just add him right to the list.
Oh, look at that.
So mixed feelings, I guess. From the left to the center right, we got to try and overcome some of our differences, right? No purity politics, and
come on.
We've got to try and work with people when we find really annoying. We can go back to dunking on them, once democracy is safe.
Yeah.
That's really important. And I'm paraphrasing here that, to complain about a problem and not actually do something about it is called whining. And I think that should be the spirit of Democrats today, right?
Robots are taking over.
Oh, God, again? He's always talking about this now.
Why do you have to worry so much about if people have jobs? And I thought, I'm always saying, don't live in a past paradigm. Live in the year we're living in. Maybe having jobs itself is a past paradigm.
Exactly. Yeah.
It is?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
replaces it. But how do you get money
It will
to buy
be.
food? I mean, I'm all for throwing the past away if it's, but what?
Universal basic income. That's what.
Yeah.
So that's giving people money.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think it's
And what do they do
bound
all
to
day
happen.
to make themselves feel worthy of something?
This is the great challenge of the future. John Maynard Keynes, the British economist, in 1930, he published an essay saying that we're going to have a 15-hour work week in 2030. This has been predicted many, many times. Isaac Asimov in the 1950s.
A 30-hour work week.
No, 15.
15.
That the great
15.
challenge of the future was going to be boredom, right? This was always, I think, the goal of capitalism, that the machines would become so productive that we could finally figure out what life is really about.
Yeah.
And now
We're getting
it seems
there.
we're on track.
As you can see from my upper right sign there, I'm forward party. I want both sides to come in, leave out the far left and the far right. I want the center to come together. And that forward party was originally, well, it wasn't originally, but Andrew Yang is involved in it. He wants both sides to come together. And I was Yang Gang all the way in 2020. Because what he was talking about back then is happening now, but at a much faster rate. So no matter how you want to slice it up, whatever, basic income is going to have to be a reality, a normality. It's gonna happen. Now, where that money is going to come from, I think should come, and I've said it before, from any company that uses AI or robots for their production or their work, because they're going to be saving a whole lot of money that's unfair to every citizen who needs to work. Especially truck drivers. They're going to, oh my God, they're going to be completely wiped out within the next 10 years. Or even less, 5 years. Because now they're testing out these trucks that are self-driving, and there's so many truck drivers out there. And he's right. Now, when you have basic income, like the basic necessities met, you could be lazy if you want, but if you want the extras in life, you're going to have to work for it. You're going to have to do something. What that is, I don't know yet. But robots can do every single thing. So he's right. He's absolutely right. whoever he quoted, the future is a 15-hour work week. And then after that, you can do whatever you actually want at your leisure. And in my opinion, the best part is that you'll get to spend more time with your children or family or friends or whatever the case may be. You're no longer in a rush. You can take your time. I think it's a positive. If AI and robots and basic income come together.
I'm going to get dragged out of a Range Rover by somebody hitting me with a doggy bag from Spago's.
Or a Waymo, much more likely.
A Waymo, yeah.
I'm all for like getting rid of drudge jobs. I've had them. Let's be honest. A lot of this is the difference between a job and a career. I've had both. Careers are fun. It's fun to have a career. And they're rewarding and usually well-paying. Yeah. Nobody should have to do that. It is drudgery. But then how do they get money? Besides, if you're just giving the money, I read if you gave everybody $1,000 a month, which is hard to live on that, it would cost the country $4 trillion a year, and we only take in $5 trillion in taxes, and I assume there'll be no taxes because no one's working.
I still believe that those companies should get taxed. I mean, heavily for using those AI bots and those robots. And that's where the money would come from.
We're like in February 2020, just before the pandemic hit, and most people are ignoring it.
Good analogy.
But it is really going to happen, and it will have massive consequences. We already see it in education. Like many teachers now, it doesn't make sense anymore with ChatGPT. It's like people writing papers, and then the teachers use ChatGPT to grade those papers as well.
The irony.
We're going to need, just 5 years ago, the smartest advice that we had for the kids was learn
how to code.
Learn how to code.
Exactly.
That is literally
I remember that.
Now than get a face tattoo, okay? You can't do worse than learn it.
Right, because that's the job AI can do most easily, yeah.
I think we shouldn't underestimate capitalism's extraordinary ability to come up with new bullshit jobs, though. I mean, it's now much more in the future.
You don't need that many people to fix a fleet of robots or AI, whether software or hardware. You don't need a whole bunch of people. So out of every 100 robots, one, because they're not going to malfunction every day. They're going to malfunction occasionally. You need one person to go and fix either hardware or software. Before this technology came in, a human will take over another human's job. My example has always been the guy who lit up the gas lamps, and then the guy who had the light bulbs came in. Now, how long did those light bulbs last for? For a long time. So he didn't have to do that all day, every day. Occasionally, he would have replaced the light bulb when it burnt out, which means that the workforce was drastically lowered. So one guy would probably take care of a 10-mile radius as far as light bulb replacement went. Whereas before, my God, like one guy would light up gas lamps every 100 blocks or whatever. So the game, in my opinion, has changed. And it's changing very fast.
Doing what? Like oiling the robots?
Yeah, there you go. Oiling the robot.
Look, this is actually, it could be a good thing, right? This could be our road to utopia. It's a very narrow path, I would say.
It could.
You just got to realize it.
Last issue, the parade is tomorrow. Trump's parade.
Oh, Lord.
That's why he's here. That's where Trump got the parade idea from. When he went over and Macron showed him, it's like, let's do something the French do. No, but we don't need to learn from the French.
Oh, no.
As always, should we appreciate America more? And in more perspective, yes, but not tanks in the streets. This really bothers me.
I think these countries who do their military parades, it's like a fake. Like, here's what we want you to think we have, this military might. So we're gonna show off what we got, but the United States and the whole world knows that nobody can come close to the military might of the United States. So why show it off? To me, that looks insecure. I love what I can't remember who said it. It might have been Franklin Roosevelt, who said, "Speak softly, but carry a big stick." Come on, man.
But yeah, it's a really bad precedent that you don't want to see in, you know, one of the oldest democracies in the world.
It's insecure.
I wouldn't have minded it after 9/11 when we were trying to bring the
That's what I
country
said.
together. Right now,
Time for new rules.
Time for new rule.
ICE agents were rounding up migrants picking fruit in Fresno, but foreign invaders can't just waltz into this country and steal the American dream.
Exactly.
The American dream of backbreaking manual labor in Fresno, where it's going to be 102 next week.
Dear God.
So, hey, American kids who just got a marketing degree from Penn State, good news. There's opening now in the exciting field of field work.
Imagine that.
For our friends in other parts of the country, when the shit goes down in LA, if you send us a text that says, hey, you doing okay out there? Then we get to send you a text that says, no, not good. How soon can you be here to help?
Yeah. I guess they think LA is real tiny.
After she killed, castrated, cooked, and ate her husband.
What? Dear God. Latina, of
You
course.
must understand, you're not alone. Trust me, when I read about her, I had the exact same reaction. A model ate something? New rule, now that 9 women have come forward to say Jared Leto was creepy to them, it's time to admit, actually, it's always the guy you'd most suspect. As long as we're 100% sure it wasn't Russell Brand.
Whoa, look at that.
Is it time to create a new political party in America that actually represents the 80% in the middle?
Yeah.
That's what he tweeted last week, and it's a great question and a great goal to shoot for. Problem is, if the recent past is any indication, Elon is like the worst guy to do it.
Yeah, that's true.
This is a resource I don't think we have the luxury of discarding, especially now that we're living in the future.
Oh, yeah, Bill is jumping off robots, man.
As a guy to lead us to 80% land? As I used to say, the problem with Twitter is anything I want to say on Twitter, I can't say on Twitter.
Yeah.
So I loved it when you said it would become politically neutral and tweeted, I hope even my worst critics remain on Twitter because that's what free speech means.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't remain long. You gave Don Lemon a show and he asked you one tough question and you shit-canned him faster than Kristi Noem took down Alex Padilla.
Oh, man.
Did we all think that there was some bloat in government? Yeah, sure. But you acted like a doctor who always wants to pull the plug and harvest the organs while the rest of us are going, I just came in for a bikini wax.
Yeah, that's a good description.
That wasn't big dick energy. That was being a dick energy. SpaceX lands reusable rockets upright, which is so much better than the old method, crashing.
Yeah, that's how it was. That's crazy.
AI as an existential threat. Although I have to say it did a pretty good job at writing the words I'm saying right now. I mean, without you, these two poor bastards would still be up in space. It's an incredible record. But government work?
That's true.
It's Chinatown, Jake.
I got to watch that movie.
Was it worth a try? Sure. Kind of like when Michael Jordan tried to play baseball. But Elon, did you really think you were going to fit in Washington with that carnival of crayon eaters?
Crayon eaters?
Congress people? That's not you. I get it. You were hurt in your previous relationship with the left, so you threw yourself into a bad rebound.
Oh, yeah.
And then look what you developed after Trump, a drug habit.
Oh.
And we need our boy genius to be more stable. Come on, you're older now. Pretty soon you might even start having kids.
Oh, man.
Knock yourself out. I mean, it's always funny when Nick Cannon does it. All right, thank you. I want to thank my guests, Rutger Bregman, Ian Bremmer, and Senator John Fetterman. Club Random drops every Sunday, soon to be Monday, on YouTube and wherever you get your podcast. Now go watch Overtime on YouTube. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
All right. I will catch you on the next one, man.